Goblins are the best monsters to have in D&D. And this hill is the hill that I will die on. Not just because this is a good spot for an ambush, and not even because of goblins' incredible tactics and all the sneaky things you can do with them. Goblins are the best monsters because you get to have some amazing roleplay experiences with them. You get to have Goblin Time! Goblin Time is 5 minutes where everyone gets permission to be their weirdest little goblin. We're not being our regular characters. In fact, we want to be as strange as can be. We all care how we're perceived and will often put a lot of ourselves into our player characters. We want to make interesting choices, but we also don't want to look stupid in front of our friends. Well, goblins solve that. Embodying someone else who is so far outside of yourself, even just for a minute or two, can be freeing. Nobody worries about whether they're playing a goblin correctly or not. When we're goblins, we are messy, chaotic, weird, and we just get to play. There is almost definitely a goblin voice inside of you, and it doesn't have to be good. The worse it is, in fact, the better. You definitely don't need to be a voice actor, and what's important is it's very clearly not you or your main player character. When I'm DMing, I'll either make this little moment at the start of the game before we actually get into playing properly, or I'll find any excuse whatsoever to do a cutaway or a flashback to some goblins. It's a silly little warm-up, but it sets us up nicely for playing seriously around the table. Goblin Time does two really important things. The first, I'd say, is pretty obvious. It's an icebreaker. I love doing this for one-shots or for brand new groups to break down some barriers. The second is a bit more subtle. Imagine your comfort zone like a circle. Your normal character probably sits somewhere comfortably in the middle. They do sensible things, they talk in sensible ways. Goblin Time drags you right out to a ridiculous edge. Every time you survive doing something outside your comfort zone gets a little bit bigger. Going is probably outside of anything that your paladin character would ever do. But once you've done that, playing your paladin with whatever quirks or whatever oddities that they have, playing them feels easier. Everything you do with your main character is going to be well inside your newly expanded comfort zone. If you're DMing, your goblins don't have to be a use once and never again sort of thing. You can also use goblins as world building. As the effects of the poison wear off and you begin to wake up, you hear voices behind the walls of your jail cell.
Look, lads, the goody two-shoeses have woken up. Which one do you think will last longest against the claw beast?
Ooh, the elf. Look at it. So stringy. No meat on those bones.
Nah, it will be the dwarf. I've eaten dwarf before. Disgusting.
You're not meant to eat the beards. Anyway, they'll all be stringy until the eclipse ends. This lot don't do well without the sun.
I've got 5 clippers on the humans, they're cunning.
Not this one. I made sure to give the human an extra big dose of poison.
Heroes, you are now fully awake and you hear a rumbling sound, a scratching of massive claws in the dark of this dungeon. As you search around for your weapons, roll for initiative. Merrick Sunspear, human, you have disadvantage. This works great if you've got players who are new to role-playing games. Lots of folks coming to the hobby are not quite sure what the unwritten social rules are of the game. They're trying to find out what's normal. Can we do voices? Can I make jokes? Can I fail? Can I be weird? Or is everyone expecting me to take this super seriously? As a DM, I want to answer all of those questions immediately. So at my tables, there's no wrong role-playing choices. Now, a quick side note, Goblin Time isn't for everyone. A fellow D&D YouTuber who's played it in loads of my games said to me, "Rich, I always cringe when you make us do that exercise, and I don't want to be involved in it." And that's completely fair. I've spoken about how people are afraid of being judged while role-playing. It would be hypocritical of me to judge someone for not wanting to do Goblin Time. That's because Goblin Time isn't a rule. It's not compulsory. It's just one tool of many that we can use to help us roleplay. If it helps your group relax, loosen up and get into character, then brilliant. If someone isn't feeling it, don't force it. The whole point is to make playing together feel less intimidating, not more. Nobody should ever feel pressured into joining in. You can always pass. The goal isn't doing goblin voices all the time. The goal is creating a table where everyone feels safe enough and inspired to make big, bold role-playing choices. And if Goblin Time helps your group get there, fantastic. If another one works better for you, that's fantastic too. The destination is what matters. Goblin Time is just one way of getting there. When I'm DMing, I'm leading with silliness. I'm able to set the expectations for what normal looks like, that it's safe to be weird, but it's also safe to be sincere. In my games, normal is playing the full range of who your character is, and normal is also being a weird little guy with a goblin voice. I've got a very special goblin who I get to play very soon. I am going to be making my Edinburgh Fringe debut on Wednesday the 5th of August, alongside Tartan Tabletop for an improvised comedy D&D live show where I will be playing Noblin the Goblin. If you want to see Noblin the Goblin and Tartan Tabletop, there is a link to tickets in the description, and I'll see some of you there for Goblin Time.